to the Literary Entrepreneur Podcast, Episode 11. Hello, welcome back to the Literary Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Tyora Moody. It's been a while since I recorded a podcast, and that's because I just finished writing my manuscript that will be due out April 2015. It's the first book in a brand new series. For those of you who follow me, I have two fictional series currently out. One was called Victory Gospel Series, and the other one is the Eugenia Patterson Mysteries. So this new series is a spin-off of my very first series, the Victory Gospel Series. There was a character who I've always known since the very first book. At some point, she would have her own book. So this new book is called Hostile Eyewitness, and the character's name is Serena Manchester. So this is kind of her story. She's off in a brand new place from where she was located in the Victory Gospel series. And I'm really excited to be able to start just a brand new series, a brand new location, a brand new storyline. And I'm thinking in a future podcast that I'll talk about how authors really can attract readers by writing book series. There's some book series that are really popular. I know certain publishers, when they're looking for new authors, they look for authors who can bring a series to them. So that's something to kind of think about if you haven't already started working on a book series. Okay, well, that's enough about what I've been up to. I want you to know that I have lined up a great group of people who I will interview over the next few months. Most of them are literary service providers in some form or fashion. Some are authors. Mostly all of them are authors, but they also do things to help out other authors. Today I'm going to bring a literary service provider who I personally work with. She has been one of those people who I add to my marketing plan every single time it's time for me to do a book release. And her name is Ella Curry. Ella Curry is the owner of EDC Creations, and for those of you who don't know her, we're going to find out all about her literary services business. I think it's always great when you can get someone who is a certified bookworm, very passionate about books, to be able to help you market your book. And she is one of those people you definitely want to meet. So in just a few minutes, we will dive into the interview that I had with Ella Curry.
Welcome to another edition of the Literary Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Tyora Moody, and today I'm excited to talk to Ella Curry. She is the owner of EDC Creations. As an author myself, I have used and enjoyed working with her in book marketing or marketing my books. And so I'm excited to be able to have her sit down with us and tell us a little bit about her business, EDC Creations, and some of the events that she hosts throughout the year. Ella, welcome to the show.
Hello, Ty, and thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Oh, the honor is mine. I've, watched you and a lot of others in the book marketing, how you've grown over the years. And like I said, it's a real pleasure as an author to be able to work with you with book marketing, because sometimes you really just can't do it all yourself. You need someone by your side to kind of help you along with attracting new readers. So, Ella, before we get into that part, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who is Ella Curry?
Ella Curry is a huge book lover. I think in my personal library in my home, I own maybe a couple thousand books. And I love books so much that I've been paying on a storage building for about 5 years that houses my books in Alabama. I love books, I love being outside, and I love connecting authors and readers. We're going to do this interview about all of my work in book publishing, but I would like for readers to know and for my clients to know, at the end of the day, I'm just a book lover that wants to expand the marketplace and to give my people a voice in that marketplace.
Awesome. And I think when you're able to work at your passion, you're obviously a book lover. I'm still pondering, you have a storage for all your books? Wow.
Oh, yep, I have a storage building.
I wish I had thought of that before I gave some of my books away. Now I'm kind of regretting that after hearing you say that. Wow, I should have thought of that. But being a book lover and doing the things that you do, how did you come about actually establishing EDC Creations? Was it just authors started coming up to you, or is it just that drive that you have for books that you wanted to help authors? How did EDC Creations come into existence?
EDC Creation actually was an event planning company. I started my event planning company, Intimate Details, back in 99, 2000, and I was still working at a factory in Alabama. That factory moved all the employees to Mexico and closed down, and practically everyone in my county lost their jobs, but they paid for us to go to school. So I was able to go to school at the University of Maryland. I moved from Alabama and started going to college at the University of Maryland, and I was still doing my event planning business, doing a lot of weddings. Well, I needed to make some sure income. I needed to know what, how much money I would have every week, something dependable, and maybe some insurance. So I went to work at Caribou bookstore chain. Caribou was the largest African-American bookstore chain in America, 6 stores at the time. And I was a buyer for them. And while I was working as a buyer, I was given the job as the product submissions manager. And I had to check out all the books that were submitted to the bookstore to see if we would carry them. So I would read all the press releases, and I would read every one of those books, and I would prepare them to go to the head buyer, Sonny, who would place the actual orders for large volumes of the books. And I began to realize that Sonny was so busy, people only had about 5 minutes of her attention. When I put that book before her and presented her that package, she made the decision right then on what was placed in front of her. And so many authors weren't business savvy. They didn't know how to present themselves well. So I would contact them, on the side and say, well, you need to do this, and your press kit needs that, and, your book needs re-editing. I would do everything to try and place them in a good position. Well, the marketing director at that time was Lee McDonald. She said, you need to charge them. They need to pay you for helping them. And there begins the story of EDC Creation. The owners of Caribou and Lee and McDonald helped me start EDC Creation. So my event planning company became EDC Creations, the company that you know today. I started out branding authors and helping them learn the industry and some how to get their promotional material and their websites. And I built websites for years. And I slowly changed. We evolved into the EDC Creation we are today.
I can see the dots connecting of you being a book lover. Things happened, and you worked at a large bookstore chain, and then you started helping authors. I'm glad to hear that story. So and also you said you had an event planning business, which I can see why you're so popular with some of the things you do offline. But I'm going to go to the online world in just a second, then we'll go back to the offline. So how important is it to you for an author in this day and age, you think, to have an online presence?
It's essential, and I can't really see how any business owner, and I consider an author a small business owner, I can't see how any business owner can operate today without a social media presence. And this is why. Even if the product is sold online or offline, you need people to be invested in the dream. You need your social media ambassadors. You need people who will go out and help promote you even when you are not there. You need. There was a study online that showed that 70% of people will take the recommendation of a friend, coworker, or even a social media associate. They would take their recommendation over an paid advertisement in the media. So authors need an online presence so they can meet those people, real live people who will recommend their products. They need that exposure. You can meet tens of thousands of people a day. You can impact lives and build your platform online within a matter of months. In this economy, everyone may not have the money or the means to do that on the ground. And one of the other reasons I think every business owner needs to have an online presence is that's the quickest way to reach the media today. You can send press kits and press releases all day long, snail mail to these offices, and you may not never hear from them again. But you can speak to them and talk to them all day long on Twitter, Facebook. Having an online presence is a great tool to get that immediate feedback, to get the word out quickly. How many of you have noticed that when it comes to our news, you hear the news on Facebook and Twitter, and then 5 or 6 hours later, or even the next day, you may see it on the news cycle, the mainstream media. We have all become the media with our iPads and iPhones and cameras. So you get that instant interaction, that instant feedback. And while technology is moving us along faster, you need that trust, that relationship with whoever your consumers are. And part of branding is so much more than a look. It's what people expect of you, how people perceive you, and what they can trust in, the loyalty that they can, hold on to based on, what your conversations with them, your products, your consistency. So all of those things play into it. But in this day and age, I can't see how you could operate a business without social media, because people need to be able to have that instant connection with you.
Definitely, I agree. Social media definitely, the word of mouth these days, like you said, with any events, major events on. I do see it on Twitter or Facebook first. If I have a link to Twitter, I'll click that link and read the story there. So yeah, I agree. Now you do a lot of things online for authors. You do virtual events, you have virtual tours. Let's talk about some of the platforms that you also have they kind of have an online audience too. And I'm going to start with your first one, at least the one that I became more aware of, your Blog Talk radio show, Black Authors Network. When did you start that, and how has that grown for you? How do you suggest authors, utilize radio, online radio in their book marketing?
Okay, so I used to have a teleconference with authors, and I'd invite book clubs and my friends to talk on a teleconference. Wahida Clark was released from prison, and she was going to do her first interview with me. And we were on a teleconference line, and we crashed it. It was just that many people that wanted to hear from her and talk to her. She was a national best-selling author that was being released from federal prison. And at that time, I was so hysterical. We had all these people, and I had promised her, I would talk about the book. So a friend of mine, Martin Pratt, introduced me to Blog Talk Radio. And, saying that I could have thousands of people on the phone line, and that would never happen again, and it would record the session, and, so many other plus, benefits of using Blog Talk. So I never really intended to create a radio show. I just needed something to hold those interviews at that particular time. That interview went so well, and I got such great feedback. I did start the radio show up, and I actually started Black Authors Network radio show for self-published and independently published authors to have a platform to tell readers about their books. Over the years, it grew. Well, back in like 2009, I did the first 28-day radio program for Black History Month. I was on the air 4 hours a day for 28 days, bringing authors on, community leaders, church leaders. We had educators. We had all kind of people. Some of the people that was actually on that show with me got book deals behind that show. 2 people went on the Tyra Banks show after that show. So that 28 days was just really historical for my company because we gained thousands of followers. So I have actually been on air now, I think, going on about 8 years.
Wow.
We started right along that time when Wahida was the first guest. And I think now, in December the 22nd, I think we'll be reaching about 7 or 8 years on air. And online radio is essential for an author who's trying to get the word out about their books, because the radio shows, my radio show, is syndicated like a real radio show would be. I have my radio show playing in 30 agitators, which means that 130. So each one of those 130 directories and agitators each one is feeding out to thousands, if not millions of people. And long before Blog Talk had put the shows on iTunes, I had already put my radio show on iTunes. So people can listen to my show from an iPad or iPhone. I have an app for my radio show, and I mentioned the syndication for the show. But we promote our show through 3 different newsletters. I take band radio very seriously, and I can't begin to tell you how many authors I've had on, I can't even begin to count them on the show. We have launched careers. We've created bestsellers with band radio. And when we started out, it was all African-American authors, all self-published. But today, we have authors from all races and nationalities. We represent the seasoned veteran New York Times authors to an author this may be their very first interview ever. My company represents a lot of great things: Black Pearls Magazine, the Sankofa Literary Society, and EDC Creations does great publicity work for people. But I would have to say band radio show is my baby, because we have healed people mentally and spiritually and emotionally with band radio. I bring experts on to talk about things that are taking place in our society, things that are affecting the hurt people in our communities. We have created an atmosphere where people can learn and grow and network and share that has helped hundreds of people on the ground, and I'm very proud of that.
Oh, well, I'm proud of you. I've been a guest on Dan Radio, and I always enjoy coming to visit and talk to Ella. It's always a great pleasure. And I know many others do also. And that's what I love about you. You have many different platforms. You have radio. You're definitely on social media. I see where you hit Facebook and Twitter, Google+, Pinterest. You do make sure that you're where people are who would notice these books, where readers could be attracted to your clients' books, and that's just awesome. You did mention Black Pearl magazine. Tell us a little bit about that, because that has to be an undertaking in itself, too. How many times a year do you post the Black Pearls magazine?
Twice per month. And Black Pearls is probably about 7 or 8 years old, too. And it started out with my newsletter. My newsletter was growing very quickly, and I was having so many authors in the newsletter, it was making it very long. So my readers were saying, can you put this somewhere else? Is it some kind of way you can streamline it? So I started Black Pearls magazine kind of like a blog, but it took off. Publishing houses, authors, everyone wanted to be on Black Pearls, and it soon became a business in itself. And today, I publish it twice a month. I update it with new authors, and like I said, veteran authors. It's a literary-themed magazine, but over the years, readers have told me, different things that they're looking for. So I offer articles on everything to make you feel good and to uplift you, to improve a way of life. Sometimes it's about our heritage. Sometimes it's about health issues. Other times there may be a theme of something like we're doing sex trafficking awareness with Pamela Samuels-Young. Right now we're doing healthy hair with Pamela Samuels-Young. So Black Pearls magazine is a lifestyle magazine. We talk about music, books, movies. The only thing I don't do a whole lot of with Black Pearls magazine is children's book, because I have a lot of adult content on the site. Not it's risque. It's not erotic or anything, but I don't want a child to read. I don't want to be responsible for anyone's kids. So we periodically throughout the year have sections that are just for children, for parents to select books. Like right now we're doing summer reading, and we're promoting it to parents. We don't promote the kids, and we don't do too many kids' books on the site. But Black Pearls magazine, it was meant to empower and inspire women, but we also want to illuminate those authors who have a platform behind their books. More than just saying, hey, I got a book and you should read it. We tell people how the books add value to their lives and how they can improve their lives and relationships in some kind of way, even if it's a comedy or even if it's a romance. We can pull out how it can help someone's life become better or brighter.
So then, that's a great piece of advice. I think I talked about earlier in another podcast. Authors need to really understand what they write about. Whether it's nonfiction or fiction, there's always something that you can pull out to have others be able to relate to, whether it's, like you said, if it's a health issue or what you're dealing with Pamela Samuels-Young, if it's dealing with hair, natural hair. There's something that author can kind of pull out things to kind of work with when they're doing their book marketing. So that's awesome. Let's see. I want to switch over. I kind of mentioned earlier because I'm excited because I'm going to get a chance in a couple of weeks to go to one of your offline events. I've been wanting to do this for like a long time. So I want to talk about what the offline events you coordinate. And I think you do those for book clubs or readers where you have authors where they can meet up. What are some of the types of offline events that you do?
Well, the chocolate socials are 6 years old, and I have them anywhere from like 8 to 10 times a year. And what it is I get readers to bring 20 or more people together. And I will come to, sometimes it's in restaurants, I've been in the Elks clubs, churches, colleges, and they bring the people together, and I bring books to showcase, and I speak to them about the importance of the 20 books that I bring. I tell them why they should follow this author online, the messages in the books that add value to their lives. I give a lot of giveaways. I give a lot of advanced reader copies so that they can read the book, and they pledge at the event to tell at least 10 people about the book and convince them to make, purchases of the books if they like them. The chocolate socials are about all the various nationalities, races, and cultures of people of color. And we all bring something to this table. We all bring those, stories, our heritage and history. You remember in Roots, the griots, the storytellers from back like in that time? We're modern day griots, and I consider myself one. I take the news. I introduce readers to authors that might be just going right under the radar, who have fabulous books. They're really talented, but because of the commercialism in the industry, readers may not know they exist. And a few years ago, there was a huge digital divide. But, it's the gap is closing now, but I do all I can to take books to those parts of the country that don't have bookstores, that don't have a way to meet African-American authors. So the chocolate socials are pretty much private except for 3 of them. The Atlanta Chocolate Social is very public. It's the largest one that I have every year. It's very public, and people can purchase tickets. And at the first night is always an award show to thank the readers, the book clubs, those social media influencers, much like yourself, Ty, with Ty Welding Creation. We want to give back and show our appreciation and thank them for spending their money, taking their time to support authors to create those bestsellers. The second night, it's always a meet and greet. You meet people online, on social media. You laugh and play and cry and pray with them all year. And we take that time to meet in person to say, hey, you helped me through that tough time. It's good to meet you, and now I can get you to sign the back of my Kindle. It's to hang out. And like I said, you're creating those ambassadors, and from time to time we need to meet them and give them something, if it's nothing but a hug. So that's why I have the chocolate socials, and the next one we have is always at the Essence Festival in New Orleans on July the 5th or 6th, depending on where it falls. It's always, and then we have the holiday chocolate social in D.C. every year. And they are all based on bringing authors and readers together who have met on social media, and to give back and to let the readers know we're just not expecting you to make us rich to buy our books. We care about you, your families, this society. We care about the broken people, the elderly, and we meet and pay tribute to them for supporting us all year long.
Well, I'm really excited about attending the Atlanta Chocolate Social. I've been looking forward to that for about 2 years now, so I'm going to do it this year. I'm finally ready to do it. So I want to thank you for putting those events on to give authors and readers that opportunity to connect with each other on a personal level. And I have to say, as an author, it does make a difference when and most authors maybe kind of like me, we're introverts. We like to write that story, but it does make a difference when you go out and connect with someone who's read your story, and there's something in that story that connected them with you. It really brings home to you that this art of storytelling is really, for me, in some ways, it's a ministry, and in some ways, it's a way to be able to connect other people to, you know, what's going on within that storyline. So definitely thank you for putting together your chocolate socials. I can't wait to attend in a few weeks.
I'm very excited about it. And you said one word that I really want to talk about, storytellers. I started in January something called the Storytellers Book Tour, and we had the privilege of promoting your book on it for a couple of months, too. The Storytellers Book Tour, I wanted readers to get a behind-the-scenes look at what it means and what it takes to be an author. We're all storytellers, but it takes something to put those stories on a national platform. I wanted readers to see the sacrifice that authors often have to make in order to get those books out there. I wanted readers to see a bigger picture of what we are doing. Reading books may be an entertainment, but we are also leaving a lasting legacy. Our books will sometimes be the only thing that can console or heal or make a change in society, in our world today. And I wanted readers to see that and to meet some of the authors who are doing things, who are taking their books to the next level in film, who are taking their books and making a political stance with what may be a fiction novel. I wanted readers to get a look at what it takes to be a storyteller in the digital age.
And I was definitely glad to be a part of the Storyteller Tour. I see that you're continuing to do those even during this summer. So I do want to ask you, let the listeners know where they can find out more about your other Storyteller Tours and find out about some of the other events that you have coming up for the rest of this year.
To go to my EDC Creations website is the best place to reach all of the things I do. And that's EDC-Creations.com. And that's creations with an S.com. EDC-Creations.com. And you'll find the radio show, the magazine, Sankofa Literary Society. And it also has my different promotions and events and things that I'm attending. Twitter is the best place to find out what I'm reading now, what books I'm promoting now, what authors I'm trying to put in the spotlight. Facebook is the best place to hang out with me and just find out kind of like what's on my mind, what's getting on my nerves, what I think is cute and funny. I love music and dancing, and so I put up a lot of funny, crazy music videos. But then from time to time, I give a lot of marketing advice on my Facebook page, too.
Okay, and believe me, following Ellis is fun on Facebook, so definitely check her out. She does give really good advice. I've noticed lately you've been having some really good quotes from famous authors and things on your Facebook wall. So, Ella, I want to say thank you once again for allowing us to have the opportunity to talk to you about EDC Creations and the other things that you do under that business.
Oh, you're more than welcome, Tyann. And I hope that for authors who are out there who are entering this business, I hope that they'll follow me on social media because I try to offer tips and advice that'll help them come across, very business savvy, and I try to give them tips and advice to make things easier, to work smarter and not so much harder. And I'm hoping that, your fans and readers will contact me or follow me on Black Pearls of Band Radio because I have clients that have serious messages in their books, and we need people who can take those messages back to their communities and homes and workplace and spread the word.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview that I just had with Ella Curry. I was really excited to be able to sit down and talk with her. Like she said, if you're interested in her literary services, you can go to that's EDC-Creations.com to find out more about her services. Um, Her current Atlanta Chocolate Social that's coming up August 7th and 8th is currently sold out, but I will definitely keep you updated on my social media on what I think, and I'm already planning to have a good time when I go, and I'll be posting those pictures probably on Instagram and Facebook. So definitely be on the lookout. She only does a few public chocolate socials a year. So if you're interested in going, definitely follow her on Facebook, like she also mentioned in the interview. So I'm going to go ahead and end this, and I just want to, as a reminder, say to you, you are more than an author. You are a literary entrepreneur. Writing and marketing is a business. Let's learn how to tell the world about your world.